Hi, it says I'm live. So I didn't necessarily plan on coming live again. Um, I guess I got this down a little bit. I have this like pointing at my face today. Ooh, too dark. I'm dark skinned. I need some light for y'all to see me. Let me stop. It's gonna be good enough. So I have like this feeling. Like I said in the title, I'm in my feelings because Mercury is in Cancer and my Mars is in Cancer and Mars is in Pisces. So I'm getting this Mercury conjunction and this Mars trine. um, but I guess I just wanted to come on and to mostly process through some things because I process through a lot mentally, but then I forget it, right? And I was just going to record it, but then I was like, I'll do it live because why not? And I'm not going to be on here too long, or it's not my intention to be on here too long. And I'm not going to pull any cards. So this isn't going to be anything like that. It's just going to be me processing through my perspective that may be my own. I mean, it is my own. It's my perspective of kind of sort of what's going down and and maybe how we can better serve the collective, right? Because I feel like the Sagittarius South Node is very tricky. And it's very tricky because we have this rise, we have like these great awakenings, right? We have this rise of spirituality and all kinds of things. And then the South Node slips from Capricorn into Sagittarius. Now, Sagittarius being the philosopher, being the sort of sort of historically, it's like it has a very Hierophantine energy. It's very like religious, or it can be. It's like a lot of right or wrong, this or that. Whereas Gemini with the North Node can be a little bit more like this and that. It can see both sides. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is one of, if not the only planet that doesn't really have a gender, right? It's kind of hermaphroditic, it's kind of androgynous, it goes both ways. I mean, it just flows like that. It's Mercury. It's quick. It goes in between everything. It's like air, right? It has to flow everywhere. And Jupiter is a planet of expansion, but a lot of times it's a very one-sided expansion. And anything not on that side is kind of sort of deemed as wrong. And anyway, I just kind of feel like with this North Node, so North Node is in Gemini, Sun is in Gemini. South Node is in Sagittarius. Full Moon is in Sagittarius. We have this eclipse right now, and then we have Mars and Pisces squaring both of them. Now, I feel like we would be able to better serve the collective if we can. It's like to be in the world, but not be of the world, right? And I feel like us sort of taking the stance of like choosing to turn a blind eye or trying to turn a blind eye to it does the collective more of a disservice than us paying attention at the very least, right? And again, it's not for everyone to do everything, right? Not everyone needs to be whatever, but in my mind, it's like so many people can feel this great change coming. But at the end of the day, it's more of an opportunity than anything, right? Like there's always an opportunity for change. There's always an opportunity for something miraculous to happen. There's always an opportunity, but if we don't do anything to take it, it's going to be an opportunity gone by. And I personally feel that like it's more for us, like I said, to be aware because like I've been thinking about a lot of things, like especially when I process mentally now, I break it down into like a lot of times it's major arcana, but I break it down into like tarot because it's energy and it gives it a domain, but it also gives it an ability to expand, right? And so we have the North Node in Gemini. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and I talked about it before. Hopefully, this will be shorter. But it's like, so where we're supposed to be going is the lovers and the magician, which is compassionate action, right? And then the south node is temperance, backed by the wheel of fortune. So in this moment in time, if like to not take action, to not do anything, and to wait for something to happen or wait for something to change, like that's not going to get us anywhere, right? Like that's where the south node is, right? For us to sit back and be like, trying to take spiritual high seas and to ignore everything that's going on as best we can to try to maintain some kind of internal peace is understandable. But if it's comfortable, it's probably not where you're supposed to be. And then we have Mars in Pisces right now. And Pisces is an interesting energy because, and Neptune is in Pisces at the same time. It's an interesting energy because it does rule illusion, but in a world that is itself a reflection of something, where would the truth of that be? Right? It's almost like there's a smoke machine in a room somewhere. And so you have to navigate to the smoke machine to turn off the smoke machine to dispel everything. You're not going to dispel it by being outside of it. And this isn't the type of smoke machine that you like, oh, we'll wait until it like until the power, like until it runs out of power, assuming that it runs on batteries and eventually the batteries have to run out, right? But it's plugged into the wall and is and it's going to be going for as long as it's going to be going. And so I feel like Mars and Pisces, Mars being the planet of action, I feel like we're at this crossroads right now, right? And our choices are kind of sort of literally action or inaction. We have the lovers backed by the magician, compassionate action. And then we have temperance backed by the wheel of fortune, which is sitting and waiting and doing nothing, hoping that it resolves itself. And then we have Mars, the planet of action, sitting in Pisces, being called to make a decision before it goes into Aries, where it's going to be for a long time because it's going to retrograde in Aries, right? And so it's like, whatever sort of path we choose right now, we're going to be on for a minute. And I can understand that it may seem that like, okay, well, if we choose to do something right now, then maybe that's going to be us in the space of continuously doing something, and then it's only going to feed into whatever is going on right now. Valid, but also remember it's Pisces energy, so things aren't necessarily always as they seem, because if we choose the compassionate side of that action, then when Mars goes into Aries, we can really gain traction, really gain momentum, really move forward in this space where it's like, why did everything stop? Why did everything pause? Why do we have this moment? Why do we have this opportunity for great change if we don't take it, if we don't push it forward, right? And I know it's like a lot of energy. And honestly, like in my personal life, am I confused? Not really. In my personal life, am I lost? Not really. Like, do I know what's going on at all? Like, no. But I wouldn't say that I'm lost either, because I know that what I'm doing right now, I'm preparing for whatever is coming next. And I know that when the thing comes, I'm going to know what it is. And in my mind, it's like, it almost feels like we did all of this to usher in this great change. And ushering in a great change requires for the issues to be addressed. And then I'm thinking about it, and it's like, it's almost like with this full moon, because this is something I've been thinking about, because I saw somebody on Twitter that was like, you shouldn't do anything on a full moon or on a lunar eclipse because it's too much whatever to handle. But it's like, if we release things on full moons, then what we're releasing them to is the sunlight. We're taking things from the darkness to the light through the means of the full moon, which is the portal of the light. So if the Earth's shadow with this eclipse, if the Earth's shadow is in the way, it's like anything that we try to release gets stuck on the Earth. So it's almost like we're in this space where we kind of sort of have to do it ourselves right now. And again, I feel like that's, Mars and Pisces. It's like, which one are you going to take? And Mars is sitting like it's squaring it, right? So we're literally at this fork in the road where we have North Node Gemini over here and South Node Sagittarius over here. And Mars is in Pisces is at this fork in the road asking us what we're going to do. And for us to not make a decision, for us to be stuck at this crossroads, is for us to be choosing South Node Sagittarius, because again, that's temperance energy backed by the Wheel of Fortune. And Jupiter, the planet that is associated with the Wheel of Fortune, is in retrograde right now. Like, the wheel is not turning itself right now. And it's not to like incite anybody to do anything, but it's to encourage people to not ignore what is going on and what is happening right now. Because for us to come into this new era and this new age of change, like changes are like things are going to have to be done. Like it's not going to do itself, right? Like South Node Temperance, South Node Wheel of Fortune, North Node The Lovers, which is all about choices, North Node the Magician, which is all about action. It's about taking the tools that you have and doing something with it. North Node was in Cancer. So in this period of increased spiritual awakening, where the North Node is in Cancer, where we're getting in touch with spirit and the home and the heart, it's like, why did we go through 18 months of North Node in Cancer getting in touch with our hearts to then, when we need to act from that space, choose to do nothing? Like South Node in Capricorn, South Node in everything that is already established. And then we're moving into South Node in Sagittarius. Like I don't I don't know. Like in my mind, it just kind of sort of makes sense. It's like what we're not supposed to be doing is being inactive right now. And I know it's a lot. And my perspective isn't the perspective of the majority, because like I said in my like last video or whatever, like I don't know what it feels like to all of a sudden feel responsible or feel guilt or shame for things that you didn't even do. But now you know that something is wrong and you can no longer really ignore it, and something has to be done. Right. And so I feel like the least that we can do if we're not doing anything else is to be aware, pay attention, and transmute what we can within ourselves, address everything that comes up within ourselves, because then that in part heals it in the collective. Right. And like I said, it's like the full moon is in Earth's shadow right now. All of the releasing, all of that stuff we have to do for it. The sun is taking a break right now. The sun is like, if y'all want to move forward to the light, you are going to have to move forward into the light. Like Mercury is in Cancer right now. That's the Chariot. The Magician energy is sitting in the Chariot. The Chariot is about driving forward that change. It's all this compassionate action that we're supposed to be having, instead of, I don't even know what kind of inaction that is. It's like it's been brought to our awareness for us to, like, I don't understand it. And again, maybe it's just so happened to be lining up with my personal experiences and in my chart and with my journey, where I'm like, knowing what we know now, like, we should be able to transmute this. We should be able to do something about this, right? It's not to give in to any of the negative emotions. It's not to give in to guilt. It's not to give in to shame. It's not to give in to fear or to give in to anger or to anything else. But it's also not to run away from those emotions either. It's for us to, like, even if you're not on the front lines, even if you're not doing whatever, like, you can still address everything, every reaction that you have to what you're seeing, all of these emotions that it brings forward. Is for us to, again, within ourselves, transmute, work through, heal, so that it can happen on the collective level. Like, that's that as above, so below, as within, so without mirroring type of oneness energy, right? When we do it for ourselves, we also do it for other people. And so it's like, take what you can manage, work through it. Again, it's not to get lost into it, but it's not to not do anything either. And Mars and Pisces is sitting at this great crossroads. with Neptune more in the space of Gemini because it's closer to Gemini. It's on the Gemini side of Mars. It's 20 degrees. Mars was like 15 or whatever. I just looked at, and something else just came into Pisces too. Icarus went back into Pisces. So Icarus retrograded for like what, a hot second? It moved like it was going back to Aquarius for a hot second, but Icarus is back in Pisces now. And it's like, to those who believe in miracles, miraculous things happen. So to believe that this change is coming, but to do nothing to ensure that it actually happens is like, the answers that we seek are given to us. The path, the plan is laid forth before us, but we still have to take it. Right? The lever is backed by the magician. We still have to make the choice, and then we have to utilize what we have to do what we can to do our part to collectively move us forward with this Mercury now in Cancer chariot energy. Because again, like, sitting at the South Node, not doing anything, waiting for something to happen, like, Jupiter is in retrograde, and not only is Jupiter retrograde being back, like Jupiter being the backing of that Sagittarius South Node, but it's also in Capricorn where it's at fall. So we're sitting back and waiting for Jupiter to do something miraculous when it's at its weakest in Capricorn. And Sagittarius and Saturn is about to come back into Capricorn too. So Jupiter has a little bit of a breather while Saturn is still on the Aquarian side of things. But Saturn being in Aquarius, coming back home to Capricorn, is like, the future is now. The path ahead is before us. We have to choose to take it. And I guess I just, like I said, I'm like sitting here processing through it. And I'm kind of sort of like, not fuming, but I'm like what was this all for if we choose to not do anything now? Right? It's like, South Node is like, oh, it'll fix itself, Temperance. Oh, just keep, whatever. It's like no, like North Node and Gemini, like, do something. Don't just sit there and philosophize about it. Don't just sit there and think and try to run away from it. Right? And like, with all of these planets in retrograde right now, and with more planets about to go retrograde, like, we are collectively healing like all of that right now. But to heal it, we have to feel it. Like, I don't know if you've ever tried to heal from anything, and the people who I would like to see this may never even see it. But I might email a link out to this video anyway, because it popped into my mind to like email somebody. And first I was like, ew, why would I do that? But then I was like, why wouldn't I do that? Because like, that's the least I could do, at the very least, regardless if somebody watches it or not. But I'm gonna try to keep this short. I'm actually gonna end it here. Like, I feel like you can show someone a path, but you can't make them walk it. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And it's like, the water that we're leading the horses to right now is, it's like, we've been treating these horses like they're camels. And it's like, it's time for a fill up, right? And it's time to continue on and to be inactive right now. And again, action looks different for everybody. We all act in different ways. We all have different specialties, but it's like, take what you can manage, heal and transmute it. And then if you have to step away, step away. Because, I mean, we have to take care of ourselves, but like, can we help the collective by healing and transmuting some of all of this that's coming to the surface? Or like, did we just come here to spiritually talk a big game and then not do anything? Like, I feel like if we weren't going to do anything in this point in time, then like, we could have just been, I don't know, like a spirit guide or something. You know what I mean? Like, we're actually here in the flesh, like incarnate right now. So let's do something. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just like Mercury in Cancer conjuncting my Mars, trining my Sun. Mars in Pisces conjuncting my Sun, trining my Mars.